And welcome to lesson 22 on linear correlation. So with the linear correlation, we're trying to see, is there a direct relationship between a student's homework score and their overall grade? This happens to be calculus students. So we've got the homework scores here and then the overall grade here, and I do need to type those into a calculator. So hopefully you've got access to this list. You don't have to read it off the screen, but it would be a good idea to follow along and type the numbers in the calculator. So I actually did that right before I started filming. So I've got all the numbers in the list. Otherwise, watching me type numbers for a couple of minutes is not really that interesting. So it would be a good idea now to pause the video and then type all the numbers in the list. When you get down to the bottom, you should see that there's 31. So the very last one is 31. Okay, on to the next part. To test for a correlation, go to the stat and then calculate, and it's going to be number 4. So the X list, so X is whatever's first and Y is whatever's second. So the X list is going to be list 1. If the L1 isn't already there, then make sure you just put second 1 and then second 2 for L2. If you happen to use list 3 and list 4, then just go ahead and put those in there. And then you can just skip down to calculate. And it gives us that R equals a 0.697. So that's going to be the test statistic. So I'm going to be using that R equals a 0.697. And then I'm also going to need the equation of the line. So use the regression equation. So I might as well write that down right now. That's going to be used for part B. So in part B, I'm going to need the equation of the line, which is y equals, so it's saying that in front of x, put this number, 0.572, and then it's plus a 34.211. So plus a 34.211. All right. Now to finish number 1. So with this, the R is the test statistic, and R always lands between a -1 and a +1. And there are 2 critical values, one on the left and one on the right. And then to find that critical value, at least in the printouts that I use, it's called table A6. So for quite a few of the critical values, I've been using the second distribution and then using some of these, but this one is not in the calculator. So you need this table, also called the Pearson correlation coefficient. In case you don't have one of these tables, then you could just Google up the Pearson correlation coefficient and find something that looks like this. So it's pretty easy to use. You just need to know, are we using 95% confidence or using 99% confidence? So in this one, we're going to use 95% confidence. Whenever confidence level is not given, use 95 as default. And then on the left side, just find n. And n was 31, but it looks like they don't have 31. So in that case, just use whatever is closest. And then go over to this column, and it says that the critical value is 0.361. So now on this little graph right here, I can say this is a 0.361, and on this side, it would be the same number except negative 0.361. And then as you can see, the 0.697 goes past a 0.361. And when it lands over here, that means there's a positive linear correlation. If it happens to land over here, there would be a negative linear correlation. And if it lands in the middle, then we did not prove anything one way or the other. The test is inconclusive. So this means there's a positive linear correlation. So correlation means there's a relationship. So this is saying a relationship. This is a direct relationship. So this is saying there's a direct relationship between someone's homework and their overall grade. And then positive means as one of them goes up, so as homework goes up, then their overall grade goes up. So the positive part on positive correlation means that these two will do the same thing. If somebody brings up their homework grade, their overall grade will go up. If their homework grade goes down, then their overall grade is going to go down. So that's the positive part. It means they both do the same thing. And now on to number 2. So use the regression equation. So that's going to be this one. And we're actually going to do it for 2 examples. Use the regression equation. Because sometimes when you're given a number, that number stands for X, and sometimes that number stands for Y. So that's why I labeled this, that homework stands for X, and their overall grade stands for Y. So on this one, I was saying, what if their homework score is a 90? Well, homework is the X's, so in this one, I'm saying, let X be 90. And we just need to substitute that 90 in here and find out what that equals. So we're going to have that Y equals the 0.572, and then replace X with a 90, plus 34.211. And then let's see how much that is. So this is basically saying if somebody has an A on the homework, then what will their overall grade be? So just take the 0.572 times 90 and then plus 34.211. And then that's saying that if they have a 90 on their homework, then they should have somewhere around a middle B for their overall grade. So Y equals 85.692. No, that was a 691. Okay, so then that's their overall grade. Now, this is not 100%, so there is a positive correlation, but that doesn't mean it's a perfect correlation, which means this is not a perfect prediction, but it is a pretty good approximation. Then for the third and last question for this video, so use the regression equation again, same thing, and then predict their homework score if their overall grade is 90. And remember, use this. So if it says their grade is 90, that means Y equals 90. So this part is saying Y equals 90 instead of X equals 90. So now use this regression equation right here, but this letter Y needs to be replaced with the 90. So it's going to say 90 equals the 0.572x plus the 34.211. So just this same equation, but replace this with the 90. And now for the first time, we need to do a little bit of algebra, just 2 steps of algebra. In order to solve for this x, the first thing I need to do is subtract 34.211 from both sides. And then these are going to cancel. And on the left side, I have 90 minus the 34.211. So that's a 55.789. I like how they put those in order for us. And then on this side, there's still the 0.572x. So just this part, bring it down. And then we only have one more step, and that is to solve for x, just divide both sides by this point, 572. And then after these cancel, then that's what x is going to equal. So now take a 55.789 and divide by 0.572. So it's basically saying that if a person wants an A in the class, they should get 97.5% on homework, which is always a good goal. 97.533 on homework.